What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another session of Coffee and Martial Arts. Salud, 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 cheers. Oh, yes. Good morning. Yes. Hold on. Oh, my God. Coffee so good this morning. And so is our show today. Yes. Okay, so before we go into the show and bring in our collaborator, let me just say that we are going live through our Facebook page, Master Frank Soto Kinetic Dragon. So please like and subscribe to the page and share this video. That really helps, guys, okay? Because it gets the message across to more people. You know, we're trying to send this positive create this positive thing for martial artists and for the martial arts enthusiasts. Yes. So we're also going live through the Internacional Hall of Fame Facebook page, the Internacional with a C. It's based upon Argentina. Okay, it's in Argentina, I should say, sorry. And there's a nice group of martial artists, very talented martial artists. They're doing their thing down there, promoting the arts and showing appreciation to all the martial arts teachers, instructors, professors, masters, and promoters. Yes. So they also print a magazine every month. Here we have the cover of September and October. Okay. They're doing on paper and they're also doing digital, of course. So it's there for you to get it. Okay. Good. We are also going live through our YouTube channel, the Kinetic Dragon channel. Please like and subscribe and click on the little bell so you get notified every time we go live, okay? Okay, great. So today, as every first Thursday of the month, we have our the Wayward section with our collaborator, Filipino martial arts maestra, Guro, yes, and Taekwondo instructor as well. She's been in the art for quite some time. I shouldn't say, it's not a gentleman's way to say this, but, you know, we've been in the art for a long time. That's all I can say. And, of course, she brings her expertise, experience, and wisdom of the martial arts with her, and also brings that nice what's the word I'm looking for? Receptive and very enthusiastic way of watching the martial arts. One of the things I like about Guro Kathrin is that she's always listening, she's always paying attention, and she brings in more knowledge into what we talk and say here. So let's bring in our collaborator, Guro Kathrin Sumpter. Hello.
Cheers. Hello, Master Frank. This coffee
Salud.
is so good. It's so good.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Yeah, you
very,
got to pick your poison. This is a good poison. Yes.
yes. Well, thank you so much. I've been excited to be here again. And I'm so grateful, too, that you're on Facebook and that you have your YouTube channel going live. You know, I have friends and colleagues that don't go onto Facebook anymore. So they appreciate having that YouTube connection, you know.
Yes, yes. YouTube, it's a much broader, I think, way of broadcasting, but it's different. It's a different animal. Facebook is one thing, social media wise, and YouTube, it's another thing. And actually, I think on YouTube, when you produce your videos, the algorithm of YouTube promotes it more than the live ones. Probably that's changing now, but the videos that I produce and we put there once a week get much more exposure than the live ones. But the good thing about doing it there on YouTube is people can see it and it stays there, and you can see
Yeah,
it afterwards and stuff. So yes,
yeah.
it's a good thing.
So
So what do you got prepared for us today?
I'm so
Sorry,
excited. I'm sporting my the calling sweatshirt. I've got my
I
new
like
gear.
it. That's
Master
nice.
and Abbott. I'm so excited. Look at this. I love the detail. The red collar, beautiful stitching, the red draw cord. And I'm so excited about this. You know, us Americans, we like donning the international flags, you know, the Mexican flag or the British flag, any chance we get to don a flag like this. But I love this sweatshirt. It's very warm and comfortable. And, you know, I'm just going to turn around for a second. I don't know if you can see it,
Yes.
but it's the Kempo International Seminar. It's the seminar circuit sweatshirt. So I'm very excited about that, you know, and I know he's going all over the place training, especially with the restrictions, you know, opening up and so he's able to do that. But I'm very excited. It's a beautiful sweatshirt, and it's getting cold here in the Pacific Northwest,
I
so the
bet.
timing's perfect, you know. Yeah,
Nice.
this is my first Kempo gear.
Oh, okay. We got to fix that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
yeah.
send you a Temple T-shirt or something. Yes.
Yes. We'll talk after the show. Yeah, I
No,
gotta get.
we have actually we are working on new designs that should be out soon. So we're gonna have a design for coffee and martial arts T-shirt. Yes.
Yeah,
And also for Kempo. So yeah, we're gonna have new stuff, and maybe we'll do some hoodies or something like that as well.
very nice, very nice. Yeah, I'm very excited.
The
Beautiful.
time is right. That's a very beautiful one. I really, really like
Yeah,
it.
it's
I'm
very
gonna say
cool.
something to Damien about it because I don't have one.
He didn't spare any expense with this. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
that's
I mean,
beautiful.
very
Very
comfortable.
nice.
It's got the pockets here. It's very comfortable. I'm not a petite little lady. This is a medium. I like it a little bit roomy, which is perfect. But I can go ahead and throw a t-shirt on underneath. So, but yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. I'll
Nice.
wear it all winter. Yeah,
Nice. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah.
Definitely. Yes, I won one. Damien, if you're listening, I won one.
Very good. Well, you have no need for a sweatshirt down there, do you? I guess not.
It can get cold. It can get cold during the winter time. We go down to, I don't know, not too cold, but yeah, cold enough to wear a sweatshirt. Yes.
I know he's got the t-shirts too. I've got a t-shirt, but today I'm wearing the nice warm sweatshirt.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it doesn't get cold as up there here, but that's I will definitely wear that even if I'm sweating all day.
Right. Might as well.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about today, Guro?
You know, I must admit I was a bit inspired watching Kempo Joe a few days ago on your podcast. You know, he's such a wealth of knowledge, and it's just fun. It's watching the two of you. But I will say that I'm very inspired about he at some point during the interview, he was holding up fighting gear. And it just made me think of my own school and what's been happening lately, especially also with people getting sort of back to normal and with the restrictions loosening up a little bit. But people have been so hungry to fight. And we've been doing a lot of fighting at the school, both in the Taekwondo program and also especially in the stick fighting program. And so that's been a lot of fun. And I'd like to talk with you about that. I'd like to talk with you about school fighting and tournament fighting. You know, it's a different animal than whatever happens to you in the street because there are rules of engagement. There has to be.
Yes.
So I really want to talk about that today.
That's good because we were talking about that earlier this week in the Spanish version of Café y Artes Marciales. We were talking about competition versus the self-defense, focus in your training. And even though I'm more a self-defense oriented type of instructor, I believe that fighting, it's essential. You gotta spar, you gotta do sparring, and also the competition side of it, the sports side of the martial arts, I believe brings more people in than the self-defense approach. I mean,
how so?
Enrolling students.
Yes.
I think people like competing because it generates goals first, and also generates a nice environment with the competition. And in tournaments, you get to meet new people, and you get to go there, and you get the recognition of, your family and whatever. And besides our culture, whether it's the U.S. or general Western culture, we like competing.
Yes.
Sports is part of our culture, and way more than defending ourselves.
I've had more students ask me in the last 3 months, when are we going to get to go to a tournament? And we're a little isolated out here on the Olympic Peninsula, so whenever we go somewhere, it's always a couple of hours away, and I don't have anything really local, but I'd be game for it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great learning experience. It really takes you outside of your comfort zone. And yeah, you're right. It is. There's a little bit of an addiction there. Yeah, it's fun to get out there, meet new people, see different styles, different schools. Yeah,
and also, I'm sorry. And also, I think it's a good way to compare and to put your knowledge into the test, right? You can test whatever it is that you're learning against somebody that you don't know, because it's not the same fighting with your peers at the dojo with your own, fellow students, than going out and fighting with somebody else and see really what's the level you have. Because if you do well in a tournament, and I don't mean just winning or getting the medal, I mean doing well, feeling good about what you're doing and feeling good about yourself, that would definitely raise up your confidence, your level of confidence, right?
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And whatever concepts you're teaching your students, that maybe there's another school that they're teaching different concepts that work out there in the ring. And so that's part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you and your viewers, because there's a lot of people out there doing different things to help them succeed in the ring. And I want to hear what they are, so I can adopt some of those, perhaps adopt some of those strategies. I've got my own. And I remember at one point you and I did talk about sparring. And I do know, and I've talked to people over the years where they don't allow sparring in their school. They don't do it because the deal is that it's unrealistic, that there are rules of engagement. And so you're suited up, and you'll hear the rules. No knee strikes, no groin strikes, no strikes to the back of the head. Well, in the street, those rules disappear.
Sure.
And so I understand why they're not doing it. I get it. I am more in the same camp as you. I see the value in it, and so we do plenty of fighting here, and more lately. People are hungry for it.
And the other thing is, yes, I mean, we gotta have this very, very clear. The dojo is not the street. No matter how much we want to take it closer to a street environment, it's not the street. We're always going to have control over the variables in the dojo. Even though we want to expose our students to a street-like scenario, whatever, it's still not the street. It's
Right.
we're still in the dojo, so we have to realize that. And actually, you train in the dojo to be prepared for the street, but the student or the individual is the one that's going to have to take that knowledge into the street scenario. That's up to the individual. It doesn't work any other way. I mean, the individual will have to deal with the situation on the street, and in the dojo, you're getting prepared for it. So sparring, that being said, sparring will help you in some ways to learn to deal with a person who's not non-compliant, for example, right? And who's trying to hit you and hurt you or make a point or whatever,
Mhm.
trying to win, right? Because
Well,
you don't go into competition if you don't think you're going to win. I mean, everybody plays to win, at least not to lose. You don't like Nobody likes losing, right? So
right.
that pressure of fighting with somebody who also wants to win does help. I definitely believe so. It does help.
Right. You're right. And I think it's the closest we're going to get.
Yeah, in a way, yes. Yes. I mean, I think both trainings are important. I mean, self defense scenarios and all that, stress inoculation or whatever, it's important. But also sparring, it's also important. I think so. Um, I mean, for a while, I didn't teach sparring to my students. For a while, I took it up years ago. And then I brought it back in because they needed that. They definitely do. I mean, because of this things, and that pressure, that thing that in the back of your mind, this guy is not helping me, and I need to win. And that putting yourself into the test, it, like you said, it brings you closer to a street scenario, right?
Well, and I think also I hear myself, you have to pull in the reins too, especially when you have new people that maybe they haven't learned yet how to exercise a modicum of control, and I feel myself, I hear myself all the time, okay, you guys are partners. I want you to take care of each other. And that's unrealistic, right? But I think it's the closest you're going to get. And so I try and remind them, look, we're looking for good, clean points. Just calm down, So in a way, you want them to get right to the edge without going over, right? So wow, that's a trick.
And also testing the techniques and the basics and the moves that you learn in class, testing them in a sparring situation, uh, and knowing what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because one move might work for one student and might work for not work for another one, might not work, might not.
Absolutely.
So you, that way you develop your own style, right, of fighting. Or if you have weapons like sticks, you have your own way of using that stick and the moves that works for you. And you get to fight different people, different sizes, different weights, and different abilities, right? Different styles. So you might find somebody who's really skillful and a skillful fighter, and you're gonna bring your level. You're gonna have to level up to match that. So, I mean, that's I think that's very useful,
Very
right?
valuable. Right, right. I agree. Oftentimes, I hear when you have two different body types, when you have somebody who's very tall against somebody who's much shorter, there's advantages to both of those heights. So we talk about that. It's hard to punch down. If you can get low, um, and you can cause some trouble that way. Or you have somebody who's very, very big, but maybe they're not fast. You know. but they have the reach. There's all these advantages and disadvantages, and I think part of it too is teaching your student what their body type advantage is.
Right, and putting it to the test. And the other thing that's important is the use of weapons, right? If you get a stick and I have a stick, then it's not that much of a difference anymore, right? Now it's about skills, not just size. Because if you don't have a stick and I don't have a stick, then because of my size and my weight and my strength, I might have the advantage, right? Maybe. But with weapons, things are level up now, right? You're pretty much.
Boy, we've been having so much fun with that stick fighting too, and you're in this gear that kind of makes you feel there's an autonomy inside that cage. You have the cage. You should grab it. Here, let me grab it real quick.
Okay, cool.
Here it is. But this
Nice.
is it. And you're in this cage. Here's the back of it. I don't know if it might be kind of hard to see. But you're protected right here on your neck. But there's sort of you feel rather isolated and safe and protected in this cage. It's a very strange sensation. There's a certain I don't know, you sort of feel this autonomy in here.
Okay.
But yeah, this is terrific. And like I said, I was inspired by Kempo Joe when he was showing some of his gear. And then of course you have the beautiful coats, the heavy duty nylon protective coats.
Right.
And they keep you safe. I'm not saying you can't get hurt. You can still get hurt, but you can really go pedal to the metal in your stick fighting with the kind of gear. I love the gear that they have for stick fighting. I think it's terrific gear.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you wear gloves as well?
Oh yes. We have the protective gloves, the forearm guards. You got to protect your elbows, so we have elbow protection. But yeah, there is still rules of engagement. It's so strange when I think about this. Hang on a sec.
Yes.
So here you have your protective headgear, and here's your fighting stick. Here's your fighting stick, right? And there's just no way that it can get through those slats. Okay. And guess what it does, right? So there's no thrusting in tournament competition, no thrusting to the eyes, no thrusting to the abdomen, no thrusting at all. Because one way or another, it doesn't work, and then somehow, how does it happen, right? Anyway.
Right. We got, let me bring a comment here. Damien Abbott. Good evening from England. I tune in and see a British flag being flown. The perfect end to a very busy day. Thank you to you both. I'm honored. Yes, Damien, I was saying that I don't have one. I'm very upset right now because I didn't get one in the mail. Yes, Damien. Come on, man. I want a sweatshirt. I want a hoodie, whatever it is. I want one. I want to wear that England flag. Yes. Please, por favor. Come on, senor. That's actually very beautiful. We're talking about it. Full salute to you, sir. Okay. Yes. So even what you're saying, right? The rules, the trusting, all that. Still, there's a lot of things that you learn. I mean, there has to be, like you said, rules of engagement, right? There has to be, because you wanna. The difference between a match or a sporting match and a street scenario is that in a sporting match, you're pretty much equal. You're equaling or leveling the fight, right? You're in a similar level, so you can test yourself. And in the street, you're asymmetrical. It's not symmetrical at all. Actually, somebody will try to take the advantage, and actually you want to have the advantage so the other person doesn't hurt you, right? So it's a different mindset, yes. But still, you can learn a lot from that symmetrical scenario. Okay, let's see. Sage here says, "You got this nice sweatshirt. Thank you."
Sage,
And no 10s or 11s with those helmets, or you'll poke an eye out.
so
LOL.
Sage is one of my new students. This young lady is, she is 100 pounds soaking wet. She is a little thing. This young woman is tough, and she's Filipino. And she found the school, and she said, "My goodness, they teach Eskrima here." And she signed up. Oh my goodness, this young lady, she is a diamond in the rough. She's been fighting too, and she is ruthless. The guys are scared of her. She
Nice.
is good. She is good. She's excelling at an amazing rate. It's fun to watch her.
Cool, cool. Salute to you, Sage. That her name?
Yeah, Sage. You know, you were saying something about the rules of engagement in tournament sparring or in the dojo, and then also, you know, there's no rules of engagement or equal skill level out in the street. And I think one of the things, if you're in the street, one of the elements that determines the victor is intention, right? Whoever has intention. And it's usually the bad guy that has intention, right? Because they start it. But in tournament sparring, there's equal intention because you bow to each other, and there's a start time and an end time. So there is equal intention. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Oh yeah. Agree. Yes, and you have to deal with that intention, right? With that equality. Yeah.
Yes.
And, I just got to say, guys, I'm sorry. I'm eating something. I'm on a tremendous
Yeah.
diet right now
No,
because
you
of
got to have your breakfast. Yeah.
no. It's the snack that I have to have, and it has to be at 11:30 in the morning. So I'm sorry. I'm not being rude. Yes,
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no, no.
but I have to do this. Okay. We have a question here. Let's see. Dexter James says, Guro, how does the mano a mano of the Filipino martial arts compare to Kempo? Ah, that's a good question. I like that.
You know, I don't have any Kempo experience at all. I
I,
never had the opportunity to train in Kempo.
I do a little bit.
Yes. And you've done some stick fighting too. Maybe you're better prepared to answer that question.
Mm, I guess we could just share. Sorry. Oh my.
No, it's a good look.
The light went off here. Electricity's gone. Okay, so let me see. I cannot see you. Okay, but you can see me, right? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that. The good thing is internet is plugged to another source. Okay,
So,
so
what is the question again? It's how does the mano a mano of Filipino martial arts compare to
yes,
Kempo?
how does the mano a mano of the FMA compare to Kempo?
Stick fighting.
What's that?
Well, I haven't done any Kempo fighting, like I said, but I've done plenty of stick fighting.
But the mano a mano, I guess the hands. How does the hands in the Filipino martial arts compare to Kempo? Well, they do it in so many ways. I mean, they have some similarities, right?
Well, I know that if you're doing a single stick fight, you really want to adopt the non-weapon hand. You want to use that to your advantage. You want to do trapping when you can. You want to use that empty hand to aid you in disarms. You know, you can also use it to feint. You know, absolutely. You know, one of the things that you can do with your non-weapon hand are plenty of checks. And it's allowed to do checks in the chest, so you can check your opponent. And I've been on the receiving end of some pretty tough checks. And what, yeah, that can really ring your bell if you have a good legal check right to the chest. You don't want to go up to the neck. It has to be right here. So
Well,
yeah, you can adopt that non-weapon hand very well.
That's a similarity right there, because in Kempo we use a lot of checks. And also, when we move with Kempo, we can say it's asymmetrical. That's why the salute is this way. So you have like the dominant hand, and instead of calling it the strong hand and the weak hand, we call it the strong hand and the smart or intelligent hand. And this hand, the smart hand, is the one that does all the checking, right? So you're grabbing or pushing or checking or pinning or whatever, and then you're doing all the major moves with the strong hand or the dominant hand, and the minor moves with the other hand, right? So that would be the same as having one stick, right? So, but I believe one of the other similarities about it is the way you flow in the Filipino martial arts and in Kempo. It's very similar, and I think those are the only two arts that I have seen that they flow from one move to the next, to the next, to the next, the way they do.
Well, and also you and I have talked about those 45-degree angles that both arts seem to adopt. I know also, just to piggyback on what you said, when you're doing a single stick fight, you need to be prepared to go to the non-weapon hand because you get tired. And so if you're a right-handed fighter and you've got that stick in your right hand, you want to be prepared to put it in your left hand rather quickly and under the radar, maybe be a little sneaky about it. It'll serve you not only because you're a little tired maybe on that right-hand side, but also it changes the game. It changes it changes the patterns. It changes what's happening. So you want to become very proficient on your non-dominant side.
There you go. Okay. So Dexter asked, sorry. So it would be very similar to Spada y Daga motions, Guro? He's asking.
In my estimation, yes. Everything that I've done with the blades feeds right into the same kind of motions of the stick. And I think also, they talk about one of the things that I hear often is that, well, a stick is a stick is a stick, whether it's nunchakus or a bow staff, you're adopting some of those same motions, but the same with the blade. I mean, it's and they talk about how a weapon is merely an extension of your hands, and I believe that to be true.
Okay, we have another comment here. I think it's has to do with the same. Let's see. Sensei Axel Cardenas. Hello, Guro Kathrin. In Kendo, you practice with a boken, but it's difficult to wear it to carry it on the street for self-defense. And though the Kendokas recognize this problem, how do you solve self-defense on the street? Do you carry sticks? Sorry for my basic English. Big hug from Chile.
I have. I've carried, there's a beautiful trail near my home, and I take my dog out there, and sometimes, many times I'm alone. Yeah, I'll take my sticks with me. I get to practice a little bit, but I'll take my sticks with me sometimes, sure.
Okay. Axel dice que sí, que ella a veces sí se lleva sus sticks a la calle, que hay un camino cerca de su casa donde salga a pasear su perro y se lleva sus sticks. Y también puede practicar con ellos y se los lleva, y si pasa algo, pues trae ahí su herramienta de defensa. Thank you for asking. Gracias por preguntar. Okay.
Sticks are really great. I mean, you can just pick up a stick off the ground, right? It's a
versatile. Yes. Yes.
The days of roaming the countryside with a samurai sword, those days are over, unfortunately. I guess you can't really do that anymore. That's too bad.
Well, there are some states in America that you can be carrying your gun, right? So
yes.
I guess most of them, right? So it's just a matter of adapting. Instead of carrying your katana, you carry your Glock or your Smith & Wesson.
Oh, brother, right.
Well, some people do that, right? And I mean, is that right? I like guns. I definitely do.
Well, I'd like to also hear with people what some of the strategies your viewers. You have so many viewers out there that are so smart and they've been in the arts for a long time and they've done so much with their careers. I know that I have my strategies. One of the things that I tell my students is that some people adopt the idea of be first. So the moment the referee says fight, they want to be out of the gate right away. And sometimes that will work for them. Sometimes they'll score a point that way. Some people are aggressive fighters. Some people are more defensive. But there is this notion of be first. And sometimes that works for people.
Right, right. I'm sorry. Just as a note here, I'm going to change the name of the show now. It's going to be Coffee, Snacks, and Martial Arts. Okay?
Yes. Yes. One piece of advice that I did get while you're munching on your snack. One piece of advice that I did get.
Or coffee and munching. I like that.
Before we went to the Philippines a couple of years ago and competed in the tournament fighting, and I pass it on to my students today, is when you close the gap with a technique and make that technique a strike to the hand, right? But don't exit without something too. If you want to open up the gap, leave with a strike to the hand, right? I know that in Kakoy Kinyeri Dose Pares, one of the cornerstone elements of this art is a full grip, right? You don't have to white knuckle it, but you want an on-purpose closed fist. You want to refrain from this with your thumb. You want to refrain from this with your index finger. Clearly, it compromises your grip. So you have a closed fist all the time. And that's a cornerstone element of this art. And so we can disarm people because of that, because they don't have that. Maybe they have this kind of a grip, right? Where you can get disarmed pretty quickly. So, right. As I said, if you choose to close the gap, come in with something, a nice strike to the hand. If you choose to open the gap, don't leave without giving them something, right? Another strike to the hand. And that works to disarm.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Very effective.
Dexter James says, maybe collapsible batons. Yeah, that works. I have one in my car all the time. Sensei, expect for NYS, the number one weapon here is machete. Uy, caramba.
Yes, of course. I've got lots of machetes here at the school.
Right. We have the cholos here in Hermosillo having their machetes. That's for sure. The gangers, the gang members. Okay. Jackson Breglow says, greetings from Port Angeles. Hello, Miss Sumpter. Aiden.
Oh, Aiden. Another brilliant stick fighter. Yes. Aiden, he enjoys fighting quite a bit. Nice. Yes, he's a good fighter. He's a hungry fighter. He wants to fight.
Good. See, there you go. And if you have that spirit, that's why you need to spar. You need to give that to the students, because some people have that thing and they want to fight. And it's a good way to generate a positive environment where you can fight, and at the end of the match, you can just give a big hug to each other and just go very happy because you fought the other person under the same terms, and there's no, bad thing with them afterwards or anything like that. So fighting
makes fast friends. That's how we bow out. I'll tell them at the end of the match, I'll say bow to me, bow to each other, and shake hands. And it invariably turns into a hug. Because you've just been through something with that person, haven't you?
Right.
You've been right on the edge with that person. So it means a lot. And you're still okay. You're not dead. You're walking around and you're fine and everybody's good. And maybe you got your bell rung a little bit and maybe you were able to dish it out a little bit too. There's something very good about that.
Right. Sensei Axel says, wow, sticks are really great weapons for the street self-defense. And also says that little dog must felt very secure because you're walking around with the sticks.
Yeah. Oh, we meet our fair share of animals on that trail, four-legged and two-legged.
Right. Yeah. Well, I hear you. So yeah, I think competition, sparring, all of that activity, it's very positive. If you, the thing we were talking earlier this week was balance. We were talking about balance. So if you can balance the self-defense training with your sparring or competition or just fighting training, and you can balance both, you will get the most out of it, right?
Right, right, of course, right.
Because
Yeah,
if you go just on one side, you're missing the other one, whether it's fighting or self-defense, right? If you're just doing fighting, then you need, I believe, self-defense training will add to it. And if you're doing just the self-defense scenarios, when you add sparring or fighting, it will definitely add to it as well. So I think it's all about adding and multiplying instead of dividing or subtracting, right? When it comes to
well,
training.
and with that said, and you sort of touched on it earlier too, it gives you a chance to really put some of your techniques to the test, right? As much
Definitely.
as you as much as you can without having real conflict on the street. Like I said, that's sparring. Hopefully, that's the closest we ever get to any real combat, right?
And yeah, and also is the part of the equipment, right? The protection gear. Uh,
Yeah,
because some people are against it. I'm thinking the Dog Brothers, for example, that they only wear the mask and the rest is just exposed. And because they say that you get higher proficiency through contact or pain or something like, I don't remember their motto, but it's something like in those terms. Uh, yes, I believe in pain. I believe pain should be a part of your training, but injury shouldn't. I mean, because when you injured yourself or anybody else, then that person is out of training for a while.
right.
Then, then it's not a positive experience. And I believe protective gear should be there, especially if you're fighting with sticks and stuff like that, right? I like that definitely that helmet, that thing, that cage that you mentioned, right? That the one you showed, the one you got there. I think it makes it safe, and then you can go like you said, full force without being hurt, right? Or hurting the
Yeah,
other person.
I really like the Eskrima protective gear. I think that the whoever developed it, they did a great job. They did a really good job. And it's really amazing too when I think about the jacket. It's amazing. A little bit of foam and a little bit of nylon. It's
Hmm.
I feel very safe. I feel very safe as it's going to be. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you won't get hurt, but injured. I think that I think that people don't get injured very much.
But you can
True.
still feel the pain of getting hit, right?
Oh, I don't know. Not necessarily. Isn't it interesting? That's interesting. You should ask that because I feel like when I'm in the ring, you don't feel any pain at all. I
What
mean,
about
it's just
what about
maybe,
afterwards?
maybe that night I'll kind of be going, "Wow, my rib" or something. You're just kind of like, "Oh, I'm sleeping on this side. Maybe I'll sleep on the other side." But when you're in it, no way. I mean, you don't feel anything. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
I don't know if that's such a good thing, right? But
no, yeah, I hear you. It's later that night when you say I'm too old for this shit, right?
yeah. Well, I will tell you one thing. Last year, I decided it's time for me not to fight men anymore.
Okay.
I can't be fighting men anymore. Who do I think I am? The last fight I had with a man was my son, and he's 26 years old, and he's a big guy. He's competent, and we've been fighting since he was 7. We've been doing all kinds of fighting together, And so I kind of just thought, oh, here we are in the ring. This is so great. You know, I get to have this experience with my son. It's ridiculous. I have no business being in the ring with a man. No way. I'm too old. No. And I did actually, he wouldn't want to hear this, but I did actually get hurt, and that's not a good thing. And I don't want to get hurt like that. So.
Well, that's not his fault, right? I
No,
mean,
no, absolutely not. No, I know the risks, but I got in there, and then it was just like, I think that's going to be my last fight with a man.
you know, 3 or 4 months ago, I was interviewing Grandmaster Larry Tatum, and he mentioned, he said, um, at this, I don't know, months ago or last year or something like that, he was teaching this lady, and he was dumbing up for her, right? Being the sparring partner or whatever, and she was doing a technique on him, and I guess she did a punch or something, and he said she hit so hard, he hit me and she dropped me. He said that I never been dropped in a technique before. He said, and I was hurt. He said, and that's it. That's when I said no more. He said, I'm not gonna dumb me up for anybody anymore. I'm too old and I can get hurt. So that was his wake up call. I guess is the same as you, right? I mean, eventually you have to say, okay, because for example, I do expose myself still to students hitting me. And last time I did that, she doesn't know it, one of my students, but she hurt my arm and shoulder with a strike. And I had to deal with that for several days. And she didn't want to do it, but I said, you have to, right? You have to do it once, but just once. But with that once, she hurt me. And I'm like, okay, I need to stop this or don't do this as often, because we tend to abuse our bodies because we like it. As instructor, we like not just the sparring, but also knowing that our students are getting the lesson, right? You're helping them. You're doing it for them, but also in a way, I mean, I'm going to talk about me, okay? I like it because I said, now my student is hitting hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
He or she, in this case, she's doing it. She was just hitting hard. I was like, oh, caramba, right? Because some students have this problem, and that's normal. Regular people have this problem that they don't want to hit you because it's against their beliefs or their emotions. It's like, I don't want to hurt you. Or did I hurt you? I said, well, if you're going to defend yourself, you really need to get that out of your mind. Otherwise, that's going to play against you in a situation, right? So that's when sparring and fighting that's another point, like in favor of fighting or sparring, because you get used to hitting somebody else, and don't feeling bad about it because it's part of the rules, right? So you start understanding that it's part of the rules, that if you're going to defend yourself, at some point you're going to have to hit somebody, because that other person, the one that is attacking you, the attacker, doesn't have that break, doesn't have that limit. They will hurt you, right? So
Yes.
you need to learn how to hit as well. Okay, let's
and
see.
You might even learn to enjoy engaging like that. I know I do. I mean, I do like to fight, and so I'll still fight women, but the time for me to fight guys, those days are over. You guys are too strong, too fast.
Okay, we have Aidan saying, when using protective gear, I personally never really felt anything. But I like fighting without the gear because it forces both parties to monitor their strength and you can feel the blows. There you go.
I've heard that. I've heard that before. Yes. One of the, and I'm not sure if he's talking about the stick fighting, but one of the fights that I got to do was the culotta fighting, where you use the foam sticks, but you don't wear any protective gear except for the helmet. Now, women do wear the breast protection, and men can still wear the groin protection, but you don't wear the armor. You don't wear the body armor. and you only go one round with the colada. But yeah, I understand that. I understand why he feels that way. You know, you definitely learn to exercise control. And earlier we were talking about schools that don't allow sparring. I also know a school owner. He'll say, "Go ahead and spar, but no protective gear, no mouth guards, no hand protection. Go right ahead, enjoy." Um, and so he'll let his students do that in the confines of the school, and that's the choice that they make. So, but I understand that. It's like the difference between like hitting a canvas pad bag with a glove or without. Sometimes you just really want to feel it, you know.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but I guess all the experiences are good. All you have to do is uh, one of the most important things is
I'm sorry.
that's fine. You're a busy woman.
Oh
Uh,
no.
um, all of the most important thing I believe is to be honest with yourself and to be honest with your training. Like you're doing sparring, and yes, it's a competition. It will add value to you, but it's not the street. And why am I saying this? Because I hear this a lot with the MMA guys. That's the closest thing we got to the street. Still not the street. Like MMA, they don't have weapons, for example. And in the street, you don't know what kind of weapon they can bring in. So,
Oh, true. Right.
right, it's not the same to spar like in the Screama way where you have a stick,
Yeah.
right? Than the MMA that you don't have any weapons. So it's still a sports scenario. You're still in a symmetrical approach. You're matching yourself to the other guy, so the better person can win, right?
Mhm.
So it's a competition. And in the street, it's not the better person who's going to win. It's the meaner, the darker person who's going to injure the other one, because it's not about winning on the street. It's about surviving. And it's not that's a different approach. So if you're honest with yourself, with your training, and you understand the value of what you're doing, what's adding to your tools, then by all means use it, do it. Like what Aiden is saying here, that he prefers, fighting without gear because it forces both parties to monitor their strength, for example. That also gives you control. And control is also important, especially in self-defense, because if you're defending yourself and you go past the use of force, you use excessive force, you might have problems with the law. Okay, so
Right.
and this is one of the arguments that I really dislike, that I heard a lot, that it's better to be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6. Yes, but it's not a black and white scenario. It shouldn't be.
Yes.
I don't want to be definitely. I don't want to be carried by 6, but I don't want to be judged by 12 either. I don't want to get into problems with the law because I defended my life.
Mhm.
So you need to take in consideration, when it comes to self-defense scenarios, you need to take in consideration the law, uh, and that's also about being honest with yourself. That's why I'm bringing this up, right? Honesty has to go into fighting, also has to go into self-defense, and also has to go into your survival skills, because we have this thing that was sold to us by the movies, for example, that you're going to kill the bad guy and you're going to be the hero of the story. And it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. First of all, if you're not ready to confront violence, you will have a lot of problems. If you have to take a life to defend yourself, you might get some uh, post-traumatic disorder, something, right? I mean, you're going to have to deal with that, and that's not easy either, right? So there's so many things that you need to consider, and when you do the sparring part, I believe it's more about enjoying the art, right? Enjoying the moment. So it should be fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you a chance to engage with a whole other person. I guess one of the things that's important to me, I don't know if you feel the same way, but as a school owner, it's very important to me that people, you were talking about injuries earlier. I don't want to see my students get injured because if they get injured in my school, what the heck are they going to do out there on the street, right? Where now you can't defend yourself because you're injured. That doesn't make any sense to me. So it is very important that everybody gets to leave on their own steam without any serious injuries, right? So
Right.
yeah, and I think what now? How did you say? You said something about you might get hurt, but you don't want to get injured, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Getting hurt is one thing, but getting injured is another. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I like that. That might end up on a little sampler in the dojo somewhere.
Go. Go. Moniz Abunawar. Hello, sir. Said great point. Two wrongs don't make right. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Fantastic show as always. Thank you, maestro. Full salute to you, sir. Thank you. So yes, yes. Getting injured is not fun, and especially as we grow older. Because when you're young, the recovery time is much shorter, right? When we get a little bit older,
Mhm. Yes, sir.
then, then the recovery time it takes you much more to recover, right? And
Yeah.
and um, and you just don't want to go through that, and especially what you just mentioned. I also like that what you just said. The students get injured, and then they go out on the street. Now they're vulnerable for what they did in your dojo.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense, right? Well, the last time we met up, you were nice enough to let me talk a little bit about my 30 years in the arts. I've been doing this for a long time. I know that you and so many of your viewers are veteran practitioners. We've been in it for a long time. And at some point, we are a little tired of getting hurt. All of us have been injured, and I've got the knees, I've got the shoulders. I've had it up to here. I don't want to do that anymore. It's like, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't want to get injured anymore. Um,
Well,
I'm we suffer for our art, right?
and especially if you're trained with that warrior mindset, right? If you still have that warrior mindset that you're going to war type of thing, right? In your mind or in your heart, you're getting ready for war, whether it's streets or whatever combat. Uh, Eventually, that's gonna take a toll on you. I mean, it's definitely gonna you're gonna have to pay the bills for that. I mean, uh,
Yeah.
yes, you're abusing your body so much, right? And then you start getting, I don't know if you can see my big bone here, for example.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because of so much hitting. Uh, and I have had surgery on my hands because of joint
Oh,
problems. Because of, yeah.
oh
Uh,
my goodness.
and that's something we don't like to talk about, right? It's like a taboo because you don't say much because you don't want your students thinking they're going to get that too, right? But definitely we need to be careful with the way we train, and that's what I said a little bit earlier. It's all about balance. I mean, we can keep on training, but we have to have balance.
Training
So
smarter, not harder.
yes, yes. So the warrior mindset has to be over at a certain point. It's like a soldier, right? You're a soldier up to a certain level or age, right? And then when you're older, then you're more of a strategist or a general. You're not in the lines anymore because you're too old, right? You bring different value into conflict, right? Not physical value, maybe more mental, right? So it should be the same way with the martial arts. We should stop the warrior mindset, uh, that soldier mindset, that I'm going to fight you mindset, and then start thinking more as a general, as a master, right? That's where the word comes from. with that mastery, with that wisdom that you should have gained through all the years of training and studying and understanding and changing your ways. Uh, and I've heard this term before. There's a young man's art and a old man's art, man or female, right? It's not a sex thing. But it's the young person art and the older person art. It's different. It's not the same. When you're young, you have all this energy, and when you get to be older, now you have to, be more efficient, be more effective, be more careful, right? You need to take care of yourself because you don't want to hit somebody and hurt yourself, stuff like that. And when you're younger, you don't care, right?
Right. Well, I think also, I still enjoy fighting. That young person hasn't gone away. I do enjoy fighting. I just really need to be more strategic about who my sparring partners are going to be. Because, yeah, I agree. I just don't want to get hurt anymore. I mean, seriously, hurt. But I enjoy being in the cage and going pedal to the metal as hard as I possibly can. But when you get with a young man, and if he's going as hard as he possibly can too, I don't stand a chance. I'm in trouble. So, yeah, it's time for me to be more strategic.
Exactly. Well, we are out of time. Wow.
Oh, already?
Yeah, it's been over an hour now.
I'm
this
so
is always
glad.
great.
Thank you so much. It's so fun. I love talking about martial arts and fighting and hearing all the interesting things that you have to say. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I also enjoy our conversations. Let me just remind everybody, Guro Kathrin is here every first Thursday of the month, okay? With her section, The Way Word. So if you have any more questions, anything, you can just prepare them and bring them in the first Thursday of every month. Dexter James says, thank you for your time. Thank you, sir. So anyway, anything you want to add before we go?
Well, like I said, I think that since everybody's kind of getting back to normal a little bit, there's a high demand at my school for fighting in both the Taekwondo section of the school and the stick fighting section of the school. And so I really want to cater to my students and make it happen more and more. So I'll look forward to continuing this conversation. I'm sure there'll be more to say.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. Alberto Contreras says, great interview, Master Frank. Thank you, sir. Aiden says, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Guru. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care. Have a great day and be safe. Bye-bye.